Um, so I dropped them off. I said goodbye, told Libby I loved her, made sure they had sweatshirts. Abby and they both actually had my sweatshirts. So that was fun because then I didn't have one. Then I drove to my boyfriend's house and sat with him while we were both getting ready for work. And while we were there, Chase had finished getting ready and he had to go to work an hour before me. And since his house was closer to work, I just stayed there and waited. And I sat there with his dad before work, and I got a call from my grandma. She actually called me twice, but I didn't hear my phone ring, so it was on the other side of the room on the charger. And I got up because I saw that the screen was on and checked to see what it was, and I called her back. And she asked me if I had heard from the girls, and I said, no, I haven't seen them since 1:30ish when I dropped them off. And she's like, okay, well, Libby's not answering her phone and your dad's there to pick her up. And it's 4 o'clock, so he'd been there already for probably an hour. And I said, okay, do you want me to come down there? And she said, yeah, that would be awesome. So I called work and told them that my sister was missing and I needed to go help find her. They were totally fine with it. They told me do whatever I had to do, kind of come in after, because we were all sure we would find them on the trail somewhere. And so we did that. I went down to the bridge. They were nowhere at the beginning of the trail. My dad had been there looking. He was yelling for them. He tried calling the phones over and over again.
And at this point, you're really kind of not as worried as you later become, but like you are just starting to kind of, all right, what's going on?
Mm-hmm. We assumed that they had been like fallen and broken a leg, or Libby had dropped her phone somewhere and wasn't answering. So we just guessed that they were out in the trails somewhere there looking.
And these trails, by the way, for anybody who doesn't know, you live there, you grew up on them. Mm-hmm. People go on them all the time. They're not like some secluded woods. They are secluded, and they have these. They're made for walking.
Yeah.
But if you could describe that too a little bit, what was it like? You know, to walk down. They were a lot other people there.
Mm-hmm. There were groups of kids that had been there throughout the day. I had actually Chase, my boyfriend's younger sister, had been there just before I had dropped the girls off. We thought they were still there when I dropped them off, but I found out later that they had already left. But when I got there and was looking, there were maybe 4 or 5 other girls and boys there that were probably around Libby's age. When you first walk in, the trail is, you can go 3 different ways. One that goes down to the water, one that goes to High Bridge, and one that goes back to Freedom Bridge, which goes over the Hoosier Heartland. And they obviously went down. We went down towards High Bridge because that's where we assumed they were. It's basically a long trail in between a wood, so there's nothing but trees on both sides. Once you get there, there's you're actually not supposed to go on the bridge. So there's a guardrail that it doesn't go fully to the length of the path, so you can go around the guardrail, and then you get on the bridge, and this bridge is probably 60 feet high over Deer Creek.
Very scary.
Very scary. I wouldn't go over it. It's basically most of the railroad ties are rotten, so there's big gaps in between all of them. So you have to be very careful while crossing it. So the first time Libby got me to cross it, I crawled across it. So it's terrifying. I don't recommend it to anyone. Then once you're at the end, it's actually you're trespassing on private property. It's the house. There's a house back there that is it's just somebody else's driveway, so you're not supposed to go down there, but people do it anyway. So while I was there searching, me and my uncle went across the bridge, and we were looking down on the trails, on the driveway really, that's down there, to see if maybe they'd gone off the bridge and were on the trail that's down there. We had yelled her name for maybe 20-30 minutes, and we're not finding her anywhere. We called her phone to see if we could hear it ring, but we didn't hear anything. It's not like we're in town, so there wasn't any noise. So if it were there somewhere that was in our distance, we would have heard her phone ringing. So we were like, okay, she's not down here. So we went back. When we got back to the top of the bridge, my grandma, she was terrified of the bridge. She was standing on the edge, and she was waiting for us. She was hoping we were coming back to tell them that we'd found them. Unfortunately, we hadn't. So we went back, and my dad, Cody, and me all stayed there. My grandma and grandpa went to the police department. That was probably 5:30.
Who's Cody?
My uncle.
Your uncle.
We stayed there. Eventually, I ended up going back to work
Mhm.
because I told them I would be there in a couple hours. Then I got a call that the police wanted to talk to me, so I had to leave work. I was covered in ice cream and all kinds of stuff, but I still left. We hadn't found them, and it was like 6 o'clock, so I went there to talk to the police about what I remembered of that day after I dropped them off, and if I had gotten any of the Snapchats that were on her story and any of that.
Did you?
I did not. She posted them directly to her story, so whether or not she sent them to someone is really hard telling.
But they were there.
But they were on her
and you were
story.
actually able to look.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have that phone then?
Nope, I had a different phone.
So it was an iPhone though, and
Mhm.
you were able to see it quickly.
Yep. So I had my iPhone, and I showed the police the Snapchats that we had saw, which is it's the picture of Abby on the other end of the bridge, and the picture of Libby leaning down of High Bridge. And I showed them those, and that was about 2:07, I do believe, around that time. And so those were the last time we assumed that anybody had heard from them, because that was what the timestamp was on the pictures. After I had talked to the police, we put out search parties to find them. We got calls that they were at the old middle school gym, that they were at the high school. There were like games going on, I guess, that day, so they thought that that's where they were. So we went to look.
Is that
there.
within walking distance of where you would have dropped them off?
Absolutely not. It was weird to think that people would think they were there because nobody picked them up, but the police also thought that they had run away.
So at this point, you have a search party out. It's getting dark.
Mm-hmm.
You're moving along with your family and police. Police call the search party off, but you guys keep looking.
Yes.
And
A
you were
lot of the
frantic.
community did.
The community.
We all continued to search. My family went home around 10. But a lot of people had still stayed out to look because it was cold and dark. We went home, tried to get some sleep, and then around 7:30 in the morning, we had all went back out to search. We went into separate parties. The fire department split us up into groups, and we went to different places. Some of them were in town Delphi. Some of them were like way out in the country near High Bridge, but nowhere my sister would have went voluntarily. Then my group that went to High Bridge, and another group that was also at High Bridge on the other side of the bridge. 3 of us chose to cross the bridge to look underneath the bridge on the opposite side, and that's where I ended up hearing that we found the bodies.
When you were there, do you remember what you saw?
At High Bridge?
Right when they found the bodies.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, first off, I was standing on the trail that's right under the bridge, looking out into the woods, and somebody yelled up that they had found a shoe. When they found the shoe, they had asked what kind of shoes the girls were wearing, and they yelled up the type of shoe that Libby was wearing. So I yelled down and told them that. Actually, then the person that had asked that had put up their phone and saw 2 deer in the ground moving, and so he was looking to see what it might be.
What's new, pussycat? What I say? I said the soul of a nation been torn away, and it's beginning to go into a slow decay. And that it's 36 hours past Judgment Day. Wolfman Jack, he's speaking in tongues. He's going on and on at the top of his lungs. Play me a song, Mr. Wolfman Jack. Play it for me in my long Cadillac. Play me that only the good die young. Take me to the place Tom Dooley was hung. They say James Infirmary in the court of King James. If you want to remember, you better write down the names. Play it at James too. Play it Rather Go Blind. Play it for the man with a telepathic mind. Play John Lee Hooker, play Scratch My Back. Play it for that strip club owner named Jack. Guitar Slim going down slow. Play it for me and for Marilyn Monroe. Play, please don't let me be misunderstood. Play it for the first lady, she ain't feeling too good. Play Don Henley, play Glenn Fry. Take it to the limit and let it go by. Play it for Kyle Wilson too. Looking far, far way down Gower Avenue. Play Tragedy, play Twilight Time. Take me back to Tulsa to the scene of the crime. Play another one and another one bites the dust. Play the old rugged cross and in God we trust. Ride the pink horse down that long lonesome road. Stand there and wait for us it to explode. Play Mystery Train for Mr. Mystery, the man who fell down dead like a rootless tree. Play it for the Reverend, play it for the pastor. Play it for the dog that got no master. Play Oscar Peterson, play Stan Getz. Play Blue Sky, play Dickie Betts. Play Art Pepper, Thelonious Monk, Charlie Parker, and all that junk. All that junk and all of that jazz. Play something for the Birdman of Alcatraz. Play Buster Keaton, play Harold Lloyd. Play Bugsy Siegel, play Pretty Boy Floyd. Play the numbers, play the odds. Play Cry Me a River for the Lord of the Gods. Play number 9, play number 6. Play it for Nancy and Stevie Nicks. Play Nat King Cole, play Nature Boy. Play down in the boondocks for Terry Malloy. Play It Happened One Night and One Night of Sin. There's 12 million souls that are listening in. Play Merchant of Venice, play Merchants of Death. Play Stella by Starlight for Lady Macbeth. Don't worry, Mr. President. Help's on the way. Your brothers are coming. There'll be hell to pay. Brothers, what brothers? What's this about hell? Tell them we're waiting, keep coming. We'll get them as well. Love Field is where his plane touched down, but it never did get back up off the ground. It was a hard act to follow, second to none. They killed him on the altar of the rising sun. Play Misty for me and that old devil moon. Play Anything Goes and Memphis in June. Play Lonely at the Top and Lonely Are the Brave. Play it for Houdini spinning around in his grave. Play Jelly Roll Morton, play Lucille. Play Deep in a Dream and play Driving Wheel. Play Moonlight Sonata in F sharp. And the key to the highway for the king of the harp. Play Marching Through Georgia in Dunbarton Strums. Play Darkness and Death Will Come When It Comes. Play Love Me or Leave Me by the Great Bud Powell. Play the Bloodstained Banner, play Murder Most Foul.